They lie around a poker table or sink into a sofa. The smoggy fumes from one stings the insides of their nostrils. The sodden fabric of the other slicks their limbs in a coat of condensation. Our location's central object expels synthetic heat and sterile light. Our location's principal actors gaze upon it endlessly, living 1,000 lives in hated silence. Searching for astute observations brought nothing. Attempting to amaze through technical skill led nowhere. What broke that suffocating atmosphere was only... In other words, please understand that when I speak of Let's Plays, the genre bends towards comedy. Think of some ways the video game has entertained YouTube audiences. A review conveys thoughtful critique through research and argumentation. Demonstrating technical skill through a speedrunner combo video satisfies as well. Let's Plays, on the other hand, cannot consistently replicate these options. Shut out from an analysis due to the general lack of script writing, unable to impress mechanically because of an often unfamiliarity with the game, as well as the inherent difficulty of talking and playing, we have few methods left to entertain this audience. One being, to make them laugh. I mentioned a general lack of script writing, and I think humor lends itself to that. To make someone laugh, you don't need to have a well-structured essay. To make someone laugh, you don't need to have mastered a game's mechanics. This will do just fine. That improvisation allows the Let's Play to become a more intimate experience. The viewer is invited to share the unrefined pleasures and hardships of a game as a fly on a digital wall, or a formless companion for the host to forever confide in. Intimacy often needs humor. To many, a base requirement for a close relationship is to make funnies. That term may strike some as off, but YouTube is a personalistic platform, one fundamentally built around that relationship between creator and audience. To lay out the characteristics of this genre and its platform is to establish its fundamental desire for laughs. So, first, let's define the role of the game in Let's Play comedy. It's to bear the brunt of 1,000 jeers. It's to be the object of backhanded praise. And it is to be the great wellspring from which all humor usually flows. Game observations are what turns your Let's Play into a comedy. As a result, it's the role that's filled before any joke is even told. It is the eternal stage, but one whose characteristics are always changing. A potential funny moment could slip right past the novice LP comedian in the countless hours they'll record. Such potential is harnessed by building from the game to make off-the-cuff sketches, meaning, even though the genre is edited, any humor is a lot closer to improv than a stand-up routine. To sum things up and narrow them down, I'd say the two crucial skills required for the upcoming roles are observation and creativity. A commonplace one, in your average LP comedy, is the co-host. Before anything else, the role is a second set of eyes to catch a moment of the game with comedic potential, and an extra mind to create humorous scenarios. While writing this video, it was tempting to think statically. If there are more people to observe potentially funny gaming moments and create funny gaming sketches, shouldn't there be more jokes? Not quite. Yes, it is true. If LP Channel A and LP Channel B were making jokes at the exact same rate, but Channel A got a co-host, the former's joke frequency would increase. But that reasoning was flawed for two reasons. People are not automatons. An amount of extra jokes, if any at all, you get from a co-host would vary from person to person. Diminishing returns. I noticed, from wasting days of my life, at a certain point increasing the number of co-hosts did not lead to a significant increase. If my reasoning was true, you'd expect that gain in joke frequency to carry from one co-host to a second, and so on. Leading me to conclude, rather than a flat gain, the co-host roughly increases the percent chance of humor in a Let's Play. A great consistency of the co-host is that the role allows for all hosts to bounce ideas off each other quite effectively, like a ball in a tennis match. They can also act as a voice of reason. For audience members frustrated by the main host, The former can diffuse that tension by voicing a perspective the latter was unfamiliar of or uninterested in. This role creates a sensation impossible to replicate in a one-man Let's Play. Now a pair or a group, the relationship between hosts can be that intimate, unrefined experience in and of itself. But who controls our show? That dynamic dance between Vidya and Vidya player. Our editor. That's who. I won't spend much time here because there's not really a lot to say. What I will say is, the editor often enhances the comedy of an existing situation. Though unlike the co-host, the editor usually requires a joke to already exist or a command to be given. Ultimately, its comedic potential is limited because the role, before all, is meant to enhance an experience already happening. An experience that must have roots in a role which is the primary converter of comedic potential into comedic reality. When faced with such potential, a variety of tools are at the main host's disposal. So to discuss this role, we must discuss their tools. The most common and most basic, this tool mocks the game's perceived characteristics. A riff transforms the relationship between game and host to that of an incompetent performer and a heckling spectator. When playing one infamous for its low quality, this tool can be a way to express critical sentiments audience members familiar with the game may share. While a good show has value in its own right, the riff creates alternative enjoyment through a satirical takedown of our entertainer. As media about media, reference humor is like second nature to a main host. Like most other reference humor, the obvious strength is that jokes which depend on familiarity with the games or Let's Plays cause those knowledgeable of the source material to not only laugh, but feel a deeper connection to the host through shared experience. Such humor might be more impactful in LPs because of the genre's relatively high output volume. To laugh is to be rewarded for having watched several series spanning dozens of hours. It's to have taken part in an adventure. And to identify a third tool, we must state something initially obvious. While exceptions do exist, the majority of LP humor is audio. They then create absurd and humorous scenarios relatively easily. Was there grisly murder during the Minecraft sesh? There is no visual feedback to prove or disprove it, so the audience can suspend their disbelief and laugh. You know, after an LP runs long enough, something akin to a serialized show is made. Every upload, another episode. Our content creators is the cast. We have defined roles to be filled, understanding aspects of the scenarios they'll create, and there are certain traits we associate with our cast members. It probably wouldn't be funny if, like, the guy at the corner store unleashed a childlike fury for sordid Sonic 06 blunders. But if it's someone you spent untold hours listening into, their friendships, failures, mundane misadventures, if it's someone from whom said comments have been a consistent source of enjoyment, I believe you're less likely to find such a thing petulant or out of character, but more likely to get that character and laugh. Scenarios that take advantage of these perceptions move beyond the tool used for laughs. They strengthen the bond between creator and audience through patterns of behavior. Those are some key aspects of the comedy LP. If executed well, we have a genre that's intimate while amicable. Being based around the most popular source of entertainment gives us mass appeal. If our low-skill floor lends us towards comedy, we'll always have a way to entertain the audience. And if YouTube, before anything else, is a platform of personalities, I hope illuminating some of the ways this genre functions explains why the Let's Play comedy persists.